What's going on, Saberland? This is Justin with Vanguard Armory Custom Sabers, and today I have another finished saber reveal video to do for you guys. This one's kind of special for me, as it is my first completed vintage graflex build, so I'm now officially part of the Vintage Club. But this is a vintage folmer that I picked up off of eBay, and me and the client who I built this for, we kind of passed some links back and forth and eventually decided to go for this one. We liked the slight aged impression that we got from it because they had a detailed photo showing the plating wearing off right here on the slide switch here, and also there was some rust on the clamp lever and some other minor areas, and we kind of thought that gave it a kind of a really cool used, worn, but vintage look, while still, for the most part, being fairly clean. Obviously it's not the best one out there. I've seen some pretty just immaculately flawless, but we're pretty happy with how this one came out. So we decided to do a TFA Ray style build. Now, the first thing, probably a lot of the graflex gurus out there are like, if you're doing a TFA build, where's the clamp cover? We had a clamp cover, and both me and the client, we didn't like it because it changed the finish drastically from here to the clamp, and it stood out too far, and also it was kind of rough around the edges, made a kind of a sharp edge, and so we decided just to leave it off and just have the Graflex logo. So that's pretty cool. I think it worked out pretty nicely. But this saber was sent off to East Coast Sabers, Mathew Duley, and he's the one that did the conversion and cut the Wanawanga grips in the amazing way that he does, and installed the grips for us. So I'm going to leave a link to his page in the video description, so when this is over, go over and check out his page and drop him a like and a follow. I'm sure he'll really appreciate that. He does fantastic work, and really, like, the main thing he does is graflex, so he's a wealth of knowledge for you guys. So anyways, moving forward, we installed this with a Goth 3 Designs Master Chassis and a CF. Yeah, this one has a CF8, and it's set for royal blue, blue, white, so it's a single color. And I did some special stuff to this, so kind of let's get into it. So we got our main activation right here. Our auxiliary switch is side tab. So it's nice and very loud. I'm very happy with it. And then we have the factory bulb pin for the blade holder right here, so it is springy, and I'll show that a little bit more detail in a second here. But let's check out the chassis. Now, the one I did with this one, as opposed to my last build that I had uploaded earlier, we went with a full polished bronze, and it came out amazing. Now, over the time and from my install, there have been some wears and some minor scuffs, but I really feel this actually kind of helps complement the exterior of the hilt as far as appeared aging and weathering, because if you look close, you can just kind of see, you know, some minor scuffs and just overall just use. But I went in and painted the plastic with a kind of like a polished, or it's like a metallic gold, and I tested a few paints, and this is the closest one that matched this, and so that's what we went with, and I painted some brass and silver accents in there to give it just some more depth and detail. Furthermore, along the inside, it's kind of hard to see, but there's silver mesh on the inside here that kind of helps just diffuse the light from the accent LEDs and kind of gives it a really cool grid look. It's not really showing up well in video, but it's a really cool effect in person. Now, another different thing that we decided to do with the saber is we went with a single crystal instead of the double 3D printed crystals, and in order to do that, I had to pinch both halves of the chassis together to get the crystal situated, and even from my general shaping and grinding of the crystal, it's still a little loose, so inside, I custom machined a little, kind of like a washer, sort of a disc spacer out of aluminum, and I installed that in there, and that really helped bring everything together. It was pretty time consuming to get it all perfect, but I'm very happy with the result. I used some special brass rod that I got from a local hobby store, and brass 440 threaded rod from Fastenal. And overall, I'm really happy with the results. And then you got the fold open. Now, this was actually one of his earlier chassis designs, so he didn't implement the kill switch right here. So we just have a recharge port, so that is one thing to remember. Now, this does have a full core reveal because we did use the Souls Hold blade holder. So that's what's in this, and we utilized all the factory parts and the bulb contacts. The only thing we decided to do instead was go for short graflex pins so this can be removed without any tooling. Now, initially, when I sent this off to Mathew, he hooked me up with one of his 3D printed inserts for the glass eye, and it allows you to use this as a blade retention. However, I accidentally broke it. They are kind of fragile, so you do have to be very careful, so please remember that. But I broke it, and instead of bothering them again, I decided to machine a new one out of aluminum, and it took some play, but we ended up getting it perfectly. So this now acts as blade retention and retains the shine through function. So this little machined ring I made inserts and pinches the glass eye together. So that's that feature. Now, like I said, this is a full core removal, so we can remove the clamp and the card. I'm trying to be careful not to scratch the chassis. There we go. Now I have some silver mesh behind these slots right here, and I decided for blinky accents I wanted to do blue and add in some purple because I feel like the purple really bounces off the polished brass and bronze and really kind of gives it an electrum look, if that's the correct word. But you can also see some of the silver mesh through the channels, the clamp channels. So that's pretty cool. Now this does just allow a full removal. It's very tight. That was one thing. I talked with some other people, and I guess just this vintage graflex is just a little bit tighter than others. There is a range of tolerances in these. So it is kind of tight. There we go. So that pulls out completely. Now, Goth 3D has since updated this chassis design. He has added covers for this area, but since this was an older style, I decided to form some stainless mesh, much like I did with my last one, except my last build I used copper mesh. So I wanted something that would kind of contrast with all this, because I felt if I used copper or brass, everything would just kind of blend together. So you got the mesh going all the way around. And this you can easily remove in case any maintenance needs to be done, any repairs. I didn't want to adhere that down. And it just holds in there with tension, so when it's inserted into the hilt, it's not going to go anywhere. And then we have your folding panels right here to access your SD card and your rice cable right here. And then over here, again, is your recharge port. So you got some cool little mechanical features there. I used the typical aux switch with the little plunger arm there, and then your standard aux switch. So yeah, but turning it on, it's very loud. There's where you can kind of see the blinky LEDs. They don't show up that well in this light, so keep that in mind. In fact, I will turn off the lights so we can check this out. Alright, here we go. I turned off my photo lights. So now you can see it a little bit better now. Alright, so now we can just go ahead and put this right back together. This will slide in, making sure the top switch is facing upwards. I like to take your time, making sure everything is in line. There we go. So now it's properly mated to the surface. Next we can slide on our clamp. Get that in position, and then the grips. Then we'll put this on just slightly, get that twisted. There we go. The threads on this are a little bit tight, so I did put some synthetic grease on to make it easier and prevent any future bind-ups, as that would not be good. So, last but not least, just going over the blade plug here. Whoops. And this does feature these are the machine parts that come with the Soulshold blade holder, and then it uses the factory bulb socket top and the spring. Gives it that cool little fun springy look. I like playing with it. Whee! Okay. Anyways, that is that. Then this will tighten down once you just get it in position just right. Boom. There we go. And it's very loud. I'm very happy with how this came out. The only one thing to note is you don't want to twist this too far, because if you do it, you won't be able to depress the switch. I like to keep it about right here. It allows enough play. And there you guys go. Thank you very much for sticking with me for an entire 11 minutes. The fact that you watched, gave me 11 minutes of your time, that means a lot to me. So, again, I just want to give a huge shout out to Mathew Duley over at East Coast Sabers for the help in the conversion on this and all the information that he's given me. And also Jordan Eugene of SoCal Sabers. He's been a fantastic source of knowledge over the years. And so I want to thank him for the help he gave me as well with this build. And, excuse me, and just again, guys, thank you very much for your time and checking this out. This is Justin with Vanguard Armory, signing off. May the Force be with you.